So hey guys, and thanks for joining me for another video. Welcome to the Random Watch Do channel. I'm just some random dude who lives down here in the bottom of the world in the southern hemisphere, a little tiny country with a population of 5 million people. It's called New Zealand. There's flies around everywhere, and I'm wearing my Seiko SBDC065 today, guys, in celebration of the Rolex Watches and Wonders releases. I'm wearing my Seiko today. Why am I wearing my Seiko? To celebrate Rolex's Watches and Wonders releases. I'm wearing the Seiko, guys, because, quite frankly, I think the Rolex releases for Watches and Wonders 2025 were just rubbish, really. Yeah, so I think the releases for Watches and Wonders 25 were rubbish. Why do I think they were rubbish? Well, maybe rubbish is a little bit of an exaggeration, because there is one model that I absolutely think is going to be a knockout. It's going to be sensational, and it's probably not the watch that you think. Why was it a letdown? Well, we had great anticipation, of course. I had some great anticipation of Rolex releasing some really cool new sports watches. They did release a completely new watch, of course, in the Land Dweller. And I have three issues with the Land Dweller. One is the name. The name is pathetic. Quite frankly, absolutely pathetic. I mean, what the hell are we supposed to do other than dwell on the land? Like, I get why there's a sea dweller for people that like diving. I get that there's a sky dweller for people that fly a lot. But do we really need a watch to tell us that we live on the land? You know, I mean, they might as well have called it the desk diver. For example, I mean, Land Dweller, what a stupid name for a watch, because pretty much all watches exclusively are worn by people that live on the land, right? So I just think it was a really stupid, what the fuck name to give a Rolex watch. That's kind of how I feel about it when I saw it, to the point where when I saw the rumours, like everybody else, like all of you, I thought, nah, they wouldn't be so stupid as to call it the Land Dweller. I mean, what a ridiculous, pathetic name for a watch worn by people that live on the land. Anyway, they did, guys. They did. And this worries me that Rolex thought this was a great idea. It worries me. This is nearly as bad as Patek Philippe and that Cubitus thing. You know, stupid name for a watch, and also stupid design for a watch. And I think they've backed it up at Watches and Wonders Just Gone by releasing a smaller version of that watch. Probably the watch they should have released first, actually, was the smaller version. I think it's a 40mm. Anyway, I digress. The other thing that I think is crap about the Land Dweller, apart from the name, is the dial. I hate the dial. In actual fact, my 15-year-old son, we sit and watch TV together every night. We watch the news together, because my son and I were quite serious people. We actually like to know what's going on in the world, so we tend to watch the news. And before the news comes on, most evenings, there's an advert for a frying pan, a non-stick frying pan, and this non-stick frying pan has this hexagonal pattern in the base. It stops your eggs sticking to the bottom. It's this really fancy, intricate hexagonal design. And the first thing my 15-year-old son said when he saw me looking at the picture of the Land Dweller was, "Oh, that looks like the bottom of that frying pan on that advert before the news." And I was like, do you know what? Now that you've said that, my son, I cannot unsee that. I will never unsee that. The frying pan dial on the Land Dweller. Okay, so now there's two things that I hate about that watch, and they both happen to be on the dial as well. You can't miss them. The other thing I can't stand about that watch, and I've got four actually, I've just thought of a fourth one that I hate. I was going to do three, but I've just now thought of another one. The third thing I don't like is the see-through caseback. I think that's just chintzy and crap. I think Rolex is not a see-through caseback kind of watch. I think it's a solid tool watch. And I think see-through casebacks are for Omega, and I think they're for Seikos and all the other brands that want to do that. I don't think see-through casebacks and Rolex go together. Don't like it at all. And the fourth bonus one, the fourth bonus thing that I really hate about the Land Dweller, apart from the name, apart from the frying pan dial, oh god, it's bad, isn't it? You know, and apart from the see-through caseback, is if you look closely at the dial, and here we are back at the dial again, if you look closely at that dial, you'll see that all the lettering, Rolex logo, superlative chronometer, Land Dweller, it's all kind of sat on a platform which is kind of ingrained not into the dial, but over the top of the pattern. In other words, the text has a shape around it, a flat shape around it, which cuts into the pattern, and I just think that ruins it. I just actually think it's cheap as well. You know, Omega have always done that really well on some of their vintage watches. They've actually managed to lay the font and the text into the pattern, whereas Rolex have done it the other way around. Rather than try and find a way to lay the font and the text into the hexagonal pattern, they've just decided to stick it on a block, a plain block, and put that on top of the pattern. So when you look at that dial closely, I just think it looks rubbish. I just think that's the sort of thing that you'd expect from the likes of Tissot or Seiko. But I expect Rolex to find a way to get that text laying across the pattern without breaking the pattern, but they've broken the pattern. Oh, and by the way, there's a number 5. I've just thought of a number 5, and my mate Fammy came up with this. My mate Fammy that I talked to, he's a watch dude as well. He said that rare Hort, what is going on with that rare Hort? It looks crap, it looks plastic, it's rubbish. Rubbish, and I agree. I looked at it, I thought, oh man, Fammy, you're right. That report is horrible. It is a horrible report. So these are the 5 things, guys. These are the 5 things that I hate about the Land Dweller. There are some things that I like, though. I love the bracelet. I think the bracelet is fabulous. I absolutely love the bracelet. I just wish they'd done it on something a little plainer. I think, you know, the Land Dweller could have worked if they'd have given it a cooler name, a better name, something a little bit more original. I think it would have worked a lot better if Rolex had released that watch with just some plain dials, that would have been absolutely fine. But as we've seen from some of the other releases from Rolex this year, is they're not doing plain dials. Have you seen those stone dials that they put on the GMT Master 2s? They're far from plain, aren't they? Have you seen the new left-hand white gold Sprite with the green dial? I actually quite like the look of that watch, and as you know, if you follow my channel, you'll know that I've actually got a Sprite. I've got the left-hand drive. I call it the Riddler, of course. Much to some people's disdain, I call it the Riddler. I have the stainless version of that. It's a fantastic watch, I love it. I think it's interesting that Rolex have gone with a white gold version of what is actually an unpopular watch. They're kind of sticking the middle finger up, really, aren't they, to the people that wanted to see the new Coke in stainless. They've said, nah, up yours. You can have a white gold left-hand drive Sprite that you all hate, and it's going to cost 5 times more, so you can't afford it anyway, especially with the new tariffs that are going on. If you're in America, you're stuffed, aren't you? You're never going to get that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to move on to the saving grace. The watch that saved Rolex in Watches and Wonders 2025 is the watch that saved them in 2025 is the new Oyster Perpetual. I really like it. I love the new Oyster Perpetual. Why do I like it? Why do I like it? Because it's everything that Rolex do nicely. It's subtle, it's understated, it's different as well. A little bit different, guys, a little bit different. And you know, the colours, and what I mean is the colours, they obviously discontinued the Celebration dial. They've dropped a couple of the Sunburst dials. Now here's the irony, they've released a load of new watches that have got really colourful, ugly, garish dials. Frying pan dials, you might say. But the one watch that I really like, which I think is really cool, is actually got a really boring pastel-y kind of coloured dial. So they've gone with those 3 new pastel colours on a slightly different design. The case design, I gather, has changed. There's a fantail. Come to say hello. Oh, hi. And yeah, they've changed the cases ever so slightly. There's a fantail right behind me. They're very friendly birds. Anybody that lives outside of New Zealand probably won't have seen or heard of a fantail before, because they're native to New Zealand only. Very friendly birds. They'll come right up to you sometimes and just hover around you and then just flutter away. Anyway, I really like the Oyster Perpetuals, guys, and I'm going to finish the video on that. I really like the Oyster Perpetual. Some of you might think that's a really boring watch, but I think it's understated, it's classy, it's cool, it's basic, it's affordable. What's not to like about it, really?